Hey YouTube, NC Shootist here. If you're like me, you enjoy shooting black powder revolvers and black powder in general, but a lot of times you don't like the time it takes to load everything, to clean it up, to make sure it's put away without any black powder residue on the gun. You know, you want to try to keep the corrosion away. So it can be a lot of hassle, a lot of fun, but a lot of hassle. So I've got a something I want to show you today, and here I've got my Uberti 1860 Army reproduction, and you'll see it looks like a standard barrel, standard receiver, standard cylinder, but that's where this goes off the rails from standard. So you pick the cylinder up, looks like a standard cylinder. It's got the notches cut into it, but you'll notice there's no engraving on the cylinder. The normal 1860 Army reproductions have a naval scene carved onto the cylinder. This doesn't have that. What it does have is an index pin. Now, that index pin goes along with another piece, which is the back plate of the cylinder. So if you'll notice on the cylinder, you'll see 5 small firing pins that are held in place where the black powder nipples usually are. This particular cylinder comes from Taylor's & Company. It allows you to convert your 44 caliber 1860 Army reproduction into a cartridge revolver that will shoot 45 long Colt. And you're probably asking yourself, well, how in the world does a 44 caliber shoot a 45 long Colt? Well, I've got my micrometer here, so we will mic out this barrel so you can see the actual dimensions. Okay, so if you mic this barrel, you're looking at 4.480, and that's from land to land. Okay, if you look at the grooves, you're looking at 4.565, 4.575. Okay, and that's more than enough to be able to shoot your cowboy load 45 long Colt. All right, now with these cylinders, you want to make sure that you do not shoot the new heavier loads of 45 Colt. That can really do damage to these reproduction firearms. But if you're using cowboy action with some lead projectiles, you should be fine. So the process to install this cylinder is very simple. So what you want to do is you take your barrel off, pull your wedge out, okay, slide your barrel off the receiver, okay. You want to make sure your lower receiver's at half cock. All right, and you'll take the old cylinder off. Okay, make sure you've got your new cylinder and the index pin going to the corresponding hole. Okay, you'll slide the cylinder on. Okay, make sure it's seated. All right, then take your barrel. Okay, slide your barrel on. Make sure the holes are lined up. And sometimes mine tends to be a little tight, so I like to take a little persuader, a nylon handled screwdriver, and help slide that barrel back on. Okay, and you want to take your wedge, and you'll want to push your wedge back through. Again, mine's a little tight, so I like to use a nylon screwdriver. Okay, once you set your wedge in and you've got everything tightened up, you want to do some function checks. Okay. Now here's another tip. You never want to let your hammer fall on an empty cylinder. Okay, that can damage the spring and firing pin assembly in the cylinder. So that's something you never want to do. Always make sure that you let the hammer down easily. Okay, Now, the Taylor's website says that sometimes these cylinders can take some minor fitting to get to fit into these revolvers. Mine, however, didn't have that issue. I took it right out of the box, took my revolver apart, slid the cylinder on, and man, it fit like a glove. So, you know, your mileage may vary. You might have to do some fitting with yours. I'm assuming you would have to file the front of the cylinder where it mates up to the barrel. I guess that's the type of fitting they're talking about. The fit and finish on this cylinder is very good. These notches are nice and sharp. They give you a good action on your revolver, so you can hear the clicks going around. It's very solid, very good construction, nice bluing. Just a great all-around conversion cylinder for your black powder revolver. If you want to order one of these, I'll put the link in the description below. And you don't have to have an FFL to be able to buy the cylinder. You just go to the Taylor's website, type in your information, and they will ship you a cylinder. And you need to make sure that the cylinder that you order will fit your revolver. They've got a couple different reproduction cylinders that'll fit Uberti, Pieta. So just make sure you know which one you're ordering before you order it, and they'll ship it right to your door. Good folks to deal with at Taylor's. Would highly recommend this cylinder conversion. It makes black powder shooting, turns it from a chore into something that's really enjoyable by letting you shoot 45 long Colt cartridges out of your revolver. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I appreciate your time. Thanks, and God bless.